Chennai Super Kings carrying off IPL 2019 exactly where they left 2018. They remain the only team to stay unbeaten after everyone's had three cracks off it in this year's tournament. They were led by MS Dhoni, who assessed the situation and thought he's going to pick his bowlers at the end. 75 not out for the CSK captain of 46 balls, 4 fours, 4 sixes in a game where CSK saw out of those 175, 60 runs scored at the very end of the last three. In response, Ben Stokes tried. Jofra Archer took them close, but CSK managed to hold their nerve. 8-run win for them takes them to the top of the table. We'll just confirm that in a bit too. Brad Hodge and Ajit Agarkar with me on ESPN Cricinfo Match Day T20. What was the difference between those two teams, Ajit?
Just CSK know how to win. That's, I guess, the difference eventually. I mean, Rahane said at the end there that 175 should have been chased. Difficult conditions for the bowler. The bigger moments, CSK. I mean, of course, MS Dhoni was the difference, but they just know how to win. I mean, looks like they're going to win 2019 IPL as well. So, no, it's. I mean, I think Rajasthan Royals must be very disappointed. I think after being in great position while bowling and then while chasing a total that really should be chased.
Where was this game decided for you, Ajit? Was it the very end where MS took those runs? Or was it Ben Stokes getting out? What was the most pivotal point that decided the outcome of this game?
I actually think the introduction of Imran Tahir, 4 overs, 2 for 23 when conditions were tough for bowlers, which was mentioned, the dew factor, and he's been able to execute his skill when everyone else couldn't. There was an opportunity for Rajasthan to win. I think they've let this game slip away. 25 needed off 12 or 13 balls, so pretty much to a ball when conditions are in your favour. I think they'll be disappointed where they actually even let it get out that far, to be honest.
Yeah, just confirming what the points table looks like then. And we did have some movement after Sunrisers romped Bangalore in Hyderabad. But Chennai have displaced them at the top. So the same two teams that played out the final of last season are sitting pretty at the top of the table this time. Rajasthan and Bangalore both dealt defeats at the Chepauk and both finding themselves at the foot of the table without a win. It's quite crowded with the rest of the gang, and Kings 11 in Delhi in action tomorrow. So that should be a cracker. Let's go to our match day match points and let's focus on how Rajasthan fell short despite Stokes and Archer's cameos. Now, you still saying towards the end of that innings, Haji, that someone, either a Ben Stokes, been paid good money, Jofra Archer's got the ability, Gautam's hit cameos, they got to just hold their nerve and they get there? Or are you going back and saying, top order, you guys need to get me a better start?
Yeah, well, 3 for 30. Chasing 175 is not ideal. So, for me, when batting conditions are pretty good, I actually thought Ben Stokes played particularly well. Given the fact that he came in, they still required, over 10 and over, up to 11s when he arrived to the crease. Yeah, that's the first sort of signs we've seen from Ben Stokes, which has showed any sort of form or aggression. So I enjoyed that, but just a couple of cheap wickets in the power play. Just let him down. You can't put all your emphasis on Josh Butler anymore. I mean, other people have to step up to the plate. And we saw a match-winning effort from Sanju, even though it wasn't a match-winning performance, or I didn't get the points. But as a unit, I think they just still lack that X factor. From the way I look forward to it. CSK just knew how to win, didn't they?
Yeah, I know, you like what you said, but did they need someone to almost play the MS Dhoni role? Just hold, bat through one end, and you thought Tripathi, you thought Steve Smith could be those people, but 6 of them, they've got Rahane, Butler, Samson, Tripathi, Smith. We criticized them except from Butler. We criticized them to say they're all from a similar mould, and you needed one of them to just play normally, and that didn't happen?
If someone had got a 75, they would have got there. But yes. No, but they had enough in the shed. I mean, Jofra Archer showed what he can do with the bat. We haven't seen a lot of that in the IPL yet. Gautam, when it's difficult to expect likes of K. Gautam to come and score, maybe come when 70 or 80 are needed. If there's a 30 or 40, sometimes it's a little bit easier. But it's the wickets at the top. I mean, batting's getting easier once the ball's a little bit wet, and obviously no one's trying to go out there and get out, but there were some real soft wickets, trying to play some So drives on the rise against the new
Yeah, I
ball.
mean, there were a few of them that we saw. Was that what, a lack of preparation, lack of planning at halftime when you knew this is gettable? All you need is, it didn't look like there was anything spectacular, the new ball from Chennai.
Well, it's the lack of execution as well. I mean, Deepak Chahar's gone for 4 overs for 24, I think.
4 overs for 2 for 19.
Yeah, I mean,
Gone
on a,
less than 5
surface,
and over.
on a surface which doesn't have any movement, any swing,
Yeah.
and the dew's a factor, I think you've got to put these guys under a lot more pressure than that.
There's a little things also. I mean, you have Deepak Chahar bowling out 4
Yeah.
because MS says, yeah, he's all right, I can get 4 out of the way. Your Rahane, on the other hand, have double bowled 3 very good overs and then brought him back, but he went for an over of 24 at the end. Just little things can come in.
Yeah, and that's
Tactically
why I
hit you.
think on the day you've got to decide. Although Deepak Chahar always bowls his 4 straight up.
Yes.
So nothing changes. And maybe the teams need to look at that and not allow him to bowl those
Yeah, that's-
4
that's-
with the new ball.
That's the key, exactly. That.
Yeah.
Conversely, you'd say that that's what they were trying to do by going after Deepak Chahar, and 2 of them just held out.
Didn't look like trying to go after him either. They were just
Soft dismissals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
soft shots. So yeah, you don't want to lose 3 wickets too early because I mean, that was very, very chaseable score. That.
Yeah, I've spoken already about Deepak Chahar, but as we approach our next match day match point, Brad Hodge points out that this is where it probably turned. Imran Tahir's introduction, a partnership of 61 between Rahul Tripathi and Steve Smith after Rajasthan were in a spot of bother. And then Imran Tahir comes on. We thought, Imran Tahir's delayed introduction could have something to do with the dew.
Yeah.
2 for 23 in what's supposed to be very difficult circumstances. That's you got to take your hat off to it.
Yeah, look, 5.5 and over, 5.75. You got to take your hat off to him, and I think that's one of the key points where we saw Kings 11, where Mayank Agarwal come in and took the emphasis against the spinners. We didn't see that today, and there wasn't any turn as well. So, there's some good players at the crease, Steve Smith, Rahul Tripathi, and they didn't really look to get after the spinners at all in particular.
Again,
Really
experience.
impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, with a wet ball, he perhaps bought Santner because he's a finger spinner and might be a little bit easier for him to bowl with the wet ball. But Tahir again showed what a class bowler he is in this format.
Every game gives us a small nugget of almost reinforcing Chennai's policy. Experience counts. When you're bowling with difficult conditions, experience just seems to work. Somehow, something just defies what other cricketing wisdom might otherwise
Yeah, but
say.
I think everyone else struggled apart from Tahir. I mean, Chahar bowled with a new ball which wasn't really wet when he did bowl. Bravo struggled, except for that last over. That's where experience came in. I mean, got Stokes out of the first ball, which helped his case. But after that, was smart enough to actually know which ball to. And it's probably a lesson for someone like a Unadkat.
Yeah.
I mean, you might still go for runs or have a bad day on that particular night. But at least you're clear in your head what you need to bowl, and Bravo's shown that.
Tahir's 2 wickets, Soji, Tripathi and Smith, both looking all right, both looking comfortable, and then the wickets falling. What explains that? Just an urgency to go for the big shot? Could they have not just held on, looking at how easily boundaries were coming towards the end?
Yeah, it must have been. I mean, Steve Smith, I think, went for less than a run a ball, striking at 93 for his 28 off 26
Of
balls,
30,
maybe. Yeah, so yeah, for me, that's a bit of an issue. You'd expect a better player than that to do a slightly better job in the middle, given the fact that there was no turn. But again, I think it's a management thing where they've tried to back end it, and then unfortunately just left a little bit too much to be done. And that's probably a case of having loss of early wickets. We saw how much Chennai built and built and built and built, and Rajasthan, you could see, tried to do the same thing. But the continued loss of wickets, I think if Tripathi, who looked good, he looked in good touch. And I think if that one had gone over the fielder to the boundary, he looked like he was the one which was going to be the aggressor.
It looked like he was playing
I mean,
that sort of role.
maybe it was a case. I know it's hindsight's a really good thing sitting here, but
bet.
maybe it was a case of what MS Dhoni did against Archer. Didn't really try to whack him for 6. Maybe that's the approach Rajasthan needed in that middle phase when Tahir was bowling well.
Well, let's speak of MS Dhoni a little more in detail then. And again, it's just the legend lives on. He continues to add to his already immortal stance in Chennai. He does it in front of his crowd, and he does it after Chennai are in a spot of bother. They've lost Shane Watson, Ambati Rayudu, Kedar Jadhav all early, and then Dhoni comes in and hits 75 or 46 after he was going and run a ball for a large part of that innings. It seems like it's what he keeps saying, right? I back myself to get it to the end as long as I take it deep. And take me through that phase where bowlers start bowling to the reputation of MS Dhoni, not necessarily the batsman or the conditions. That's a real thing?
Yeah, no doubt it's a real thing. Yeah, it is. You are standing there looking. It's a similar effect of Andre Russell. And if you miss your execution, it's going to travel, and certainly in conditions like that. But yeah, I think they missed the trick really when MSD actually walked to the crease and Gopal come on, and the field was still spread. And just allowed him to milk himself into the game, which is what he does, gets himself to a runner ball and then launches the back end. You need to start forcing a little bit of more pressure on MSD, bring the field up, force him to play big shots early. So this is one tactic I'm just not sure why it's not happening.
And these aren't experienced internationals, but they are experienced IPL bowlers, Dhaval Kulkarni and Jaydev Unadkat. Did you expect better?
Yeah. I mean, as a bowler, they both would have expected a bit better. I know it obviously made it a bit more difficult with the dew. But the plan, I mean, the thought process, especially in that last over of Unadkat, wasn't great. I mean, MS Dhoni has been playing for 100 years.
Yeah.
You know where his strengths are. You try and stay away from it. He might still hit you, but at least you've tried to stay away from those strengths. I don't think he did that enough.
Let's take nothing away from the innings though. It's not his fault they weren't bowling well or set strange fields. Dhoni just soaked in all that pressure and he didn't break a sweat, literally.
Amazing. No, he didn't break a sweat. He was the only one on the field which, didn't. And that's probably why he's the Iceman, isn't he? So, look, I mean, that's the gift of what he has. And that's the value of experience. He knows the ground. He knows the conditions. He knows that younger attack, apart from Jofra Archer, will probably crumble under pressure with his, imposing figure at the crease. And that's happened time and time again. And he knows the result. If he's there, this is what's going to happen. I strike a 180 at the back end of the last 4 overs. That's done for a reason.
Yeah.
And it's done before and it's continuing because he's a gun at it.
Maybe the bowlers need to step up.
Yeah, we talk a lot about experienced internationals who raise their game for the IPL. And we speak of overseas players, but MS, he plays a completely different, he has a different approach to international cricket. Out here, 4 sixes in quick time is not something we associate with MS. We just think he's changed the way he plays. It just shows when he's back at CSK, he gives himself different standards.
I think today's innings was similar to what he's been playing for India.
Okay.
Built his innings when they were, early wickets down and left it, 60 of the last 3 overs. That's a lot of runs. I mean, 52
of 2 if you take away Jofra Archer's 8-run over.
So I think once he's set, then he obviously, that's one of the things when he comes into bat, like Haji's been saying, maybe try and make him play that big shot early on in his innings, which he's a little bit reluctant to do. But once he's set, he's obviously very dangerous because he reads the bowlers really well, what a particular bowler is going to try.
Okay, well done MS Dhoni, deservedly man of the match, and this could very well keep CSK's season going from strength to strength, given that he himself is getting runs now. So good on Dhoni and good on Chennai, 3 out of 3 for them. Let's focus on the slight shining light in Rajasthan's bowling. That was Jofra Archer. You had Dhaval Kulkarni going at 9s, Ben Stokes going at 10s, Jaydev Unadkat going at 13s. On a day like that, with Jofra Archer going at 4.25 from his 4 overs, including a maiden, you've struck gold with that sort of resource. What separates him from others? He's not experienced. He's not an experienced international. He's got something about him in T20 cricket, but he seems to be adjusting on IPL pitch to pitch just fine.
Yeah, I think pace for me is the first thing. I think that sort of speed, really good action, releases the ball over the top, extra bounce. But obviously all around the world playing in T20 leagues has been doing this job, whether it's with the new ball or at the end of the innings, day in, day out, and because he has the ability to bowl a good quick Yorker, the bumper is quick and has a very good slow ball and executes it well under pressure, which if you keep doing the job regularly, of course you need the ability, but also be brave enough to do it, and that's, to me, the pace separates him from some of the other guys.
Well, we've seen top-class international bowlers, test-quality bowlers, not quite get it right when it comes to the IPL. Forget 2020 cricket. Jofra Archer's, this is his second season. He missed a lot of his first season. Yeah. I think what came to light when he had that season for Hobart Hurricanes last year. Yeah. And he seems to be picking up. The lights have gone out talking about Jofra Archer.
The game went on for about 5 hours.
Yeah, that's how good he is, isn't he? All right, as we fix that for you, just give us a second or two. But again, just reminding you where the game stands. It's actually also, believe it or not, it's Jofra Archer's birthday now. It's on the 1st of April. So we're just bringing it in for him. Yeah. Celebrating his birthday right now. The cake's about to come in any second.
No wonder the game went on for as long as it did.
Yeah, I know. They wanted to wish Jofra Archer, I think. Right. Bright and shiny, here we come. Let's get back to the Jofra Archer, the birthday boy conversation. It seems like he learns quickly. He bowls in Indian pitches, different all of them in nature, and he finds out how to bowl.
Well, he's a special talent. I think that was pretty evident when he showed up from Sussex straight into the Big Bash for Hobart Hurricanes. And I actually faced him and was surprised how quick he was. Off a short run-up, fast action, and he's athletic as well.
Yeah.
He's got a good bumper, good Yorker. And throughout this whole tournament, Big Bash, he worked on that rolling the fingers across the ball to trying to take pace off the ball. So he's worked it out. He's smart, but it's a little bit of an all too realistic sign for the Rajasthan boys, where he's a clear standout, but they continue to get pummeled for runs.
How'd you go against him? You get any?
I took a couple of slogs at him and got a couple over the keeper, and then held out the long on. So.
And imagine if you'd have got you about 3 or 4 years back, you would have been pasting him left, right, and
I didn't get in line with it, I know that. But look, the one thing he's got a fast Yorker as well, and you don't quite pick it up. So, yeah, I mean, that's the ability. He's got that Rabada Yorker ability.
And we've seen a bit of talent with the bat too. You're talking about perhaps maybe Rajasthan need a little bit of innovation, look to use him differently, send someone up to smash a few early on like Sunil Narayan does.
Yeah, I think they'll have to think out of the box a little bit at times. I mean, don't need to do it every game, but surely, I mean, Brad said he can bat, but we haven't seen enough of that in the IPL, and now tonight was a good example, so maybe we should use that.
Take that sort of call. This sort of team, which you got 5-6 of them in one mould, might be good for Jofra Archer to be used differently, Aji.
Oh, no doubt. I think, look, when I was at Rajasthan Royals, we tried it with Kevin Cooper a couple of times and it worked. And as I said, I'm a big fan of your power play being a bit kamikaze, because when there's kamikaze, things just tend to go out the window. All your plans go out the window. So you can plan quite comfortably, I think, to Rahane, not so much Butler, but Sampson as well. You throw Jofra Archer into the mix and it'll create some chaotic atmosphere. So I'd like to see it sooner rather than later.
Let's see if Rajasthan would be brave enough to try that out. Jofra Archer still now only 24. He's just turned 24. So best wishes to Jofra Archer. Let's hope he gets some points for Rajasthan on the table soon. What about points for Brad Hodge and Ajit Agarkar for our Fab 4 contest? Well, Joss Butler. All the big boys haven't got too many points today. Kohli, AB, Rashid Khan, Butler, Watson, not much. 57. It's not your best effort.
Shreyas was good for me as well.
Where's Shreyas Gopal?
He didn't show up today.
He didn't show up.
There, no.
Yeah, he's still worried. All right, let's have a look at Ajit Agarkar, who, of course, lost the first Fab 4 to Brad Hodge. You've done well. You've done very well, Ajit. 216 points. And essentially 3 players got that for you with Raina.
Yeah, Santa's... well, thankfully Chennai won tonight.
Yeah, Raina's taken...
Santa didn't have a great night.
Well, Suresh Raina has taken 3 catches. So good on Suresh Raina to actually get you some more bonus points there. You can always
didn't need it though.
Yeah, well, you didn't need it. All right. Many thanks to Ajit Agarkar and Brad Hodge. Get their thoughts again tomorrow ahead of the North Indian derby between Punjab and Delhi in Mohali. Story from Chennai after match 12 of IPL 2019. It's much like the entire season of 2018. Chennai Super Kings just know how to win.